Dzień dobry, buongiorno a tutti, good morning everyone. I hope we are visible, you can hear us, and let's start. Blanka Chmurzyńska-Brown, the head of Polish Union of Cosmetic Industry, and today we are inviting you for yet another interesting webinar. What the intention was to create 3 days of very detailed expertise and knowledgeable information packed in 3 different webinars. Yesterday we were taking external view, giving you all the possible data, how the market, Polish cosmetic market in Poland is developing, comparing this data to all other European markets with which we compete. For today we invited Michał Rudecki from Nielsen, taking this kind of approach that only external experts who measure the Polish cosmetic market in a very true and independent way can give you the information that will paint the proper picture of Polish cosmetic industry. And what we were thinking of the organizers to provide you with is that 3 independent experts, today Nielsen, tomorrow Mintel, will give you a different eye view shots of external puzzles, making the total picture of Polish cosmetic industry. And of course Nielsen, it's a perfect partner to participate in this kind of webinar, because Nielsen, as everyone globally in cosmetic industry knows, specializes in analyzing fast-moving consumer goods, taking a special view on cosmetic basket, analyzing how this industry locally in Poland is developing, what's changing in the market, what are the direction of development, and what are the specific flavors about our industry. What I could say before introducing Michał Rudecki to take the floor is that it's very easy to talk about Polish cosmetic market. It's really a beautiful way to present you data talking about this industry, because it's an industry with so many successes and growth measured year to year on internal market and also on exports, that it's just a pure pleasure to talk about this industry and this market. Michał, the floor is yours. Let's not talk more and let's not take more of your time. Good luck.
Thank you, Blanka, for the invitation and for the introduction. It's a very pleasure to be here, of course. It's a though pity that we cannot meet face to face, but well, special times require special measures. So before I jumped into my presentations and a lot of numbers, in Nielsen obviously we love numbers, I would like to tell you a short story. And this story is about 2 sisters that had a big dream about natural quality cosmetics made from raw materials, raw product that were really of good quality. And that dream happened several years ago. They were 26 and 19 years old, and that time in Poland there was no such products. But their dream was so strong that they decided to manufacture such products on their own, well, starting first in their kitchen. So after many attempts, many failures, but many achievements and successes as well, they produced their first bar soap. So that was natural bar soap. They had product. Well, that was the time that they needed to find distribution channels and sell the product. But that was also the time when they faced market reality. So very competitive market, big retailers, and this is actually the story and the moment where our story begins now. So what I would like to give you is an overview of the Polish market with emphasis of cosmetics market as well. So first, to be on the same page, let me give you just a quick introduction how we define total Poland market. We have hypermarkets, supermarkets, a list of discounters and drugstores, of course. And then we have groceries, kiosk, and petrol stations. And for this presentation, we're gonna put them in the bucket of small format. So whenever I talk about small format, you need to have in mind those channels. We also do not cover certain channels, and these are cash and carry, specialist stores, some seasonal outlets, institutional sales, vending machines, and some part of online. So please bear that in mind. So we're going to start from the very broad and very big picture from the European perspective. I want to show you some development of key channels. So these are large format stores. And as you can see, during time over all those years, the large format stores increased in a steady way. However, if you look at small supermarkets, so the green line that goes up, you're going to see that this growth is quite dynamic, and this is because in those supermarkets, you can see that there are discounters, and actually discounters led that growth over period. However, now, if we go to national economies and national markets, you can see some structural differences that are visible. So, for example, in case of Germany, almost 3/4 of the retail market is driven by supermarkets and drugstores. Then, for example, in France, half of the market is driven by hypermarkets. So you can see already the differences. Now, what is characteristic for Poland is that although we are also a market with large number of supermarkets and discounters, there is also a huge amount of small traditional stores, and that really makes our market complicated and numerous. So you can see that this market is quite numerous. Still, over years, we had faced some consolidation of the market. So over 11 years, we closed 32,000 of small stores. But still, this number, especially compared to other countries in the region, is quite huge. So when we talk about number of stores, it's about 100,000 of stores for food basket and around 94,000 for drug basket. And on this slide, you can see development of every channel. And actually, what I would like to point your attention to is 3 key trends. So first one is, as I mentioned before, decline of small format, and this is clearly visible. The second thing, already saw on the big picture on the European level, that's an increase of discounters, so steady increase in numbers. And the third trend, it's kind of consolidation of drugstores. So the numbers overall look kind of flattish, but if you go inside, if you start to analyze inside, you're going to see that those small, traditional, non-organized drugstores, they are slowly closing down, and in their place, the big chains of drugstores are emerging. So on the surface, there is no difference, but we have to obviously analyze deeper. And of course, the competitiveness of the market, it's not only in numbers, but it's also in quality. So in Polish market, you can see and you can find different varieties of banners. So we have international chains of supermarket, we have local supermarkets, we have very dynamic discounters, a lot of drugstores and those big chains of drugstores. We have convenience stores, we have countless names of traditional stores, and obviously we have petrol stations that expand their FMCG portfolio year over year. So really that's a competitive market. It's also a great environment, an ideal environment for a Polish shopper. And Polish shopper really likes to do shopping. So as you can see, and this is kind of consequence what I told you before, is that in Poland we lead in terms of number of shops per 1,000 inhabitants. So as you can see, we are in top of Europe. But also, we are not loyal consumers and not loyal shoppers. We tend to change the banner or change the shop very often. And in this statistic, we see that every month we visit 4 different banners, so 4 different types of banners. So that is really another layer of competitiveness. But also, there is something else. So Polish shoppers are not loyal, but they are very smart. What does it mean? So one third of us know already the prices of products that we regularly buy, and another almost half really notice the prices when they change. So that also makes us very very immune to promotions. And as you can see, almost one third of shoppers actually change their stores based on promotional trip. So we really like to look for deals and look for promotions, and 40% of us really actively search for those promotions. So this is another layer of competitiveness. We have numerous stores. The stores are very different. We have a lot of banners, and how consumers and shoppers react gives another layer of market complexity. So in this next section, I would like to talk a bit about dynamics of FMCG, but also home and cosmetic basket. So in Nielsen, we estimate that in the latest MAT ending on July, the FMCG total basket amounts to $52.5 billion. If you break down this basket into key industries, we have food industry that covers more or less 3/4 of entire basket, nearly $38 billion. And then we have beauty and home industry and cigarette industry that equally amounts to around $7.4 billion. Now we are looking at dynamics. So we are looking at dynamic of entire basket, entire FMCG basket. And we are looking into MAT this year versus MAT last year. And as you can see, the growth is 5%. So having in mind that this MAT, so this 12 last months, we experienced COVID, I guess this is a very good number for Poland. Now we're going to jump into beauty and home basket, so this $7.4 billion that I mentioned before. And again, we are breaking it down into category groups. So we have home care and paper sanitary hygiene, both worth around $2 billion equally. And then we have cosmetic group of categories, and they are equal to $3.5 billion, which is more or less the half of the entire beauty and home basket. And again, we are showing the dynamic of the beauty and home basket. As you can see, the growth is similar. So still having in mind that that was extremely difficult time for these types of products, the growth is really sound and the number is pretty impressive. However, it needs to be mentioned that that was very turbulent time. And here on this chart, I would like to show you first few months of the development of the sales. And as you can see, in March, we've noted very strong increases of the entire basket. And that was driven because we had first information about closing shops, first information about cases in Poland of COVID. So people start to make big shopping, so stock up missions, and they start to fill in their basket. So that's why we saw such dramatic increase. However, then in April, the whole basket plummeted. Of course, unfortunately, that decrease was not so dramatic as the increase in previous month. However, again, we need to dig deeper into those numbers, and this dynamic was not equal for every industry. And as you can see, home categories, paper sanitary products, they actually perform a bit better because the increase in March was quite significant, and the decrease was not so bad in April. What happened for cosmetic categories, unfortunately, is that they did not benefit as much from those stock-up missions in March, and they plummeted a lot in April, when more severe actions were taken place in Poland, the lockdown. So some of categories were not really making sense in the buying basket. COVID also had interesting impact on channels. So first, I would like to show you a situation that was before. So we saw for drugs, for beauty and home categories as a whole, slow increase of drugs of discounters and more or less flattish situation for drugstores, and same dynamic could be seen in cosmetics. However, the big change you need to pay attention to is that drugstores are much more important for cosmetics, obviously, and you can see its ratio 66% to 40% if we talk about the entire basket. So what happened during COVID? Well, because of the restrictions and because of change of consumers' behavior, shoppers start to act a bit differently. So first of all, they started to look for one big mission trips. They preferred to go to one shop with a wide variety of products, do one big list of shopping, not to expose themselves, and do this one big stock up mission, and that's why discounters increased in importance. And this is what we can see: the increase from 33 to 34, from 70 to 21%. So that is driven that is driving discounters. At the same time, there was a group of shoppers that preferred local small stores, so they also could avoid a large number of people, avoiding queues, going to their small shop, and that's why small format increased a bit. We can see the numbers going from 8 to 10%, from 4 to 5, so we can see that slight increase. And those two trends actually caused drugstores to decline. And as you can see in April, those declines were quite dramatic. However, in July, we already see normalization. The situation is coming back. Stores are open again. Consumers and shoppers like to go to do the shopping. We have promotions again. So the situation is switching back to normal. And to close this section, I would like to again step back and give you some perspective from international point of view. And as it was mentioned yesterday, well, we still are a small market when in terms of size and value that goes through our market. However, when we look at it from different perspective, you can see that growths are really impressive. Especially in cosmetics. In last MAT, there was negative trend for most of the markets, and Poland really had very, very good dynamic. So definitely there is room to grow when it comes to our market. Next section will be focused on cosmetics market. So together with Polish Union of Cosmetics, we defined an index of Polish companies. That's 68 companies. And what I'm going to show you is a difference in behavior and in numbers between those companies and the rest of the industry. So this is cosmetics development. Industry gained 27.6 million PLN over last MAT. And now if we decompose this development, so we're going to show you the difference on Polish cosmetic companies and international cosmetic companies. You see that in these difficult times, in this difficult environment and complicated market, Polish companies delivered over almost 70 million PLN, which is quite impressive. And during that same period, international companies decreased by 40 million PLN. So definitely this growth of cosmetics sector is driven by Polish companies. And again, looking at the same picture but from a different angle, here I'm showing you the dynamics in percentages. You see in the last MAT, both international and Polish companies, they noted positive figures. However, in latest MAT, only Polish companies are above the line. And again, we are decomposing this growth into channels. And what is interesting to see is that although international companies won in discounters and they gained the volume in discounters, overall they lost the volume because of losing in hypermarkets, supermarkets and drugstores. On the other hand, Polish companies really played their strategy good, and having good strategy placed in drugstores, they won and they drove the market through that strategies. Looking at shares of Polish cosmetic companies in entire cosmetic industry, it oscillates about 20%, and you can see that this share is increasing steadily. However, if we look in the COVID period especially, you can see that in May, this figure was over-indexed into 24%, and you may ask why. So this is because there was strong promotion in one of the key drugstores, and Polish companies leveraged that opportunity, were flexible enough, and managed to win some points at that very difficult time. So that's again a good advantage of Polish companies. On that slide, I would like to show you top 10 categories in cosmetics. So starting from face care, that is historically the biggest category in cosmetic industry. However, during the COVID period, and because of that, the growth is quite limited. Then we also see affected categories such as color cosmetics or eye makeup. So those categories noted negative figures. But on the other hand, we have such categories like toilet soap with skyrocketing sales and very good development of shower gels, body care and toothpaste. So on the next slide, we're going to look at same categories, but in a bit different angle again. So I want to show you the value shares of Polish cosmetic companies within those categories. And as you can see, in face care, body care, color cosmetics, face and eye makeup, Polish cosmetics companies, they have very strong shares. On next slides, I would like to do a short deep dive into face care and body care and show you some more details. So first, let us remind the development of entire face care category was 1.3% over last MAT, and what we could see is that again Polish companies were very strong. The dynamic was much stronger than of other companies, not including Polish cosmetics, and that was 3.6. Now on that chart, I would like to show you top contributors of the growth of entire face care category. And as you can see, in top 10, we have 7 Polish companies. I would say 7.5, because definitely part of private labels are also manufactured by Polish companies. So let's maybe take a closer look what kind of products delivered that growth. So on one side, we have strong brands with already established position playing in already established trend like anti-aging. But then there is a really lot of products that focus on being natural, eco-friendly, having active ingredients and driving maybe on even new trends. So an example would be entire line with anti-pollution benefits. So something really interesting. Now jumping into body care, we see exactly same picture. So we see Polish companies developing and delivering growth much stronger than international companies. And then looking into top 10, there is majority of Polish companies. And this natural trend with natural ingredients is even more visible in the body care section. So we have such tasty ingredients like chocolate, raspberry, nuts, and some of those products really are very similar to yogurts or ice cream. You need to be really aware and really cautious not to eat them. And one of my favorite ingredient is coconut. So I really love that ingredient. Well, starting from Malibu with milk, but not ending there. And my last finding was the toothpaste of coconut, and I really love it. So I'm really happy that this kind of trends are here. So at some point, we were not sure if this natural trend, which is already some time with us, is really that strong, and especially during COVID, is it driving consumer attention? Is it, still vital to us? So we asked consumers, what do you think about it? And they told us, okay, we asked about bio-natural cosmetics and bio-natural home care, so two different set of categories. And they told us, well, I will buy same as before, or I will buy more when compared to a period before COVID. So that was enough for us, right? A very short answer. Yes, it's still important. It's still driving shares. And on one hand, we have producers. On the second hand, we have consumers, we have us, but then there are retailers as well. And as you can see, they are changing their shops. They are changing the way they approach shoppers. And here in the top left corner, you can see Rossmann, which developed a completely new, completely fresh concept of bio eco store. So it's completely different. If you have opportunity, please visit it in Łódź. It's really great. But also we see other different stores that so far focus on bio and eco food, and now are switching slowly into cosmetics and home and beauty products. And then this is also happening in leaflets. So far, whenever we had a bio-eco campaign in the leaflet, that was mostly focused on food products. Now more and more cosmetics are visible there. Natural trends are important, but it's also important to go further, to innovate. And we some time ago did at Nielsen research, so we tested different claims, as you can see, in different countries, and these are claims for home care products. So obviously that was a COVID period, and people really focus on antibacterial claims, a preventive action, keeping my immune system strong, etc. But one interesting fact is that among those healthy claims and antibacterial ones, there is a claim saying kills germs in a natural way. So that can potentially be a further or another route or way to innovate in this area and perhaps create some another successful products. And when it comes to Polish consumers, we are really prone, and we like to test new products. And as you can see, over all those years, the number of trendsetters, so those shoppers that love try new things, constantly increases. And we are this, modern shoppers that we like to test new products. And lastly, what is also important, that innovation, okay, it's fun sometimes, but it also can pay out. Yeah. What I'm showing to you is top 5 categories, but we're going to focus on top 2. So this is makeup and face care. And for those categories, the importance of introduction of new and different products is the highest. So whenever you are playing in this category, you need to constantly innovate. And again, from the study that we did during COVID period, we asked consumers, okay, you like innovation, that's fine, but will you be willing to pay premium, to pay more for these types of products? And they are asking, they are saying, yes, of course, whatever that saves my time and it's new, whatever that is better quality and it's new, I'm willing to pay more. So that's another hint for you that, yes, innovate and consumers will love it and they will pay for that. Okay, so to sum up, I would like to leave you with 5 points, 5 key thoughts that we had during that presentation. So first of all, Polish retail market is competitive. It's not only about the number of stores, but number of banners and this intensity and not yet consolidated structure. The second thing is that Polish consumers are maybe not easy. They are smart. They shop frequently, but actively also search for best deals. Third point would be bear in mind healthy growth of FMCG and entire basket of beauty and home, and that was despite COVID disturbance. And we could see that when we compare it to another countries in the region, the growth is there, and we are very prosperous market in that sense. Another point, and also a very important one, is that Polish cosmetics companies are already ready. Let's say they're up their game, right? They have quality products, they have interesting ideas, and they are really ready to compete internationally. Lastly, Polish cosmetic market is very dynamic. It's driven by innovations and trendy products. So I could end up here, but we still have our story to be told. So what happened to two sisters? Where in the meantime, during my speech, they opened a store in Szczecin. They opened store in Warsaw. They have internet store as well. They have several other stores where they are available. So they started with a bar soap. Now they have scrubs, they have creams, they have other great products, and they have, I'm sure, a lot of ideas for different products. So what is the moral and what is the beauty of this history? Well, the beauty is that they are not alone, right? There are a lot of other companies that have this optimism, have this business passion, and a lot of ideas, a lot of great product that really are achieving success in this complicated Polish market. So, my name is Michał Rudecki. Dear ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention. I wish you a lot of health and a lot of success, and thank you.